begin the prayer.
Okay. Yeah, well, okay.
Oh, it's me?
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry. I wasn't ready. Hold on. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Well, we first want to honor the Ohlone land we are on, because it is this Turtle Island, the land of the First Nation that we are on. And we also want to give honor to our ancestors. And if you want to think about your ancestors now and call their names into the room so that they may lead and guide this meeting and our hearts and our minds, thanking them for their presence, take a moment and call them into the room. You could do it silently or aloud, it's up to you. And I would just say, Moyuba Bobo Egun, of all that are here and present. Yes.
James.
Thank you for this beautiful gathering of all our youth for tomorrow. And may our meeting and the sharing be guided and lifted and protected in all ways. And may we share from our hearts and our minds in a most loving way. And just thank each and every one of you for being here. Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe.
Ashio.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luanda. Yeah, well. So we value your presence and we value your time. And so our focus as a collective is the healing and the wellness of our community. And so as a sisterhood, as a collective, we've been, like many, like you, disturbed, changed, transformed by the recent activities in the news. And so we know that it's impacting our young people, maybe in a different way that it's impacting us. And so we just thought we wanted to take the opportunity to speak to hear your thoughts about certain things. One of the things that has been coming up is reform, change everything. Burn down the system, rebuild it. So we've been hearing a lot about the educational system and how it's not working, how the system is broke. And so it's been a long time since we've been in school, in high school, elementary school, even though we're all mothers. And so we wanted to hear from you. So we just have 4 questions that we want to ask and want to hear your feedback from how you feel and how you're experiencing your education. And Sabrina, are you going to introduce, or are we going to how? Introducing.
That's right. We have to introduce our. That's right. So next, we introduce ourselves. Does anybody hear that?
Yeah, maybe if we mute those of us who aren't.
Okay, sorry about that. So we introduced ourselves, but we forgot to introduce our wonderful guests. So can we start with whoever's unmuted? No, everybody's muted.
Okay, how about?
Lena, do you mind starting?
Mm-hmm.
So start with your name and your age, or if you're in school, your grade. If you're not in school, your age. Thanks.
Greetings. My name is Mubina. I am 19 years old as of June 2nd. And I'm not in school yet. I'm out of high school. But I, God willing, will be attending Berkeley City College in the fall. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
All right, next.
I think Raja is next.
Rasha's next, that's right.
Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm Raja, 22, and I'm finishing my last class at Laney.
Yay!
Thank you, Raja.
Thank you, Raja. And Miss Takami.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Takami. I'm 14 years old and I'm not in school right now, but I will be going to high school in 9th grade. So yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations. Thank you, Takami.
Thank
And Makeda?
Mm-hmm.
Am I saying her name right? I'm
Makeda.
Makeda.
Makeda, okay.
My name's Makeda. I am in 9th grade.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And Josara?
My name is Chazara, and I'm going into 9th grade.
Okay.
When? Why? Sorry.
Congratulations. Thank you, Jazara.
Sorry. It's a little too much.
They keep growing, I saw too.
Oh my goodness. High schoolers. I can't. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. And thank you once again for joining us. So we'll start with the questions. And I've already just explained where we're coming from for these questions. Throughout your school experience, did you feel welcome, wanted, and cared about? And so I don't want to have to call names, so I'm going to say just unmute yourself, and you have 2 or 3 minutes to answer that question. Who would like to go first? I'm going to call names.
There you go.
Okay. Mumbina, throughout your school experience, did you feel welcome, wanted, and cared about?
It's an interesting question. I will say that I'm blessed throughout my school experience, regardless of institutions and schools and the issues that existed, that I was grateful to have a conscious mother and a serious advocate for me feeling that way, to feel welcomed, cared, and loved about and seen. So I can't say that in every institution that I entered and school that I entered that I felt that way, being a brown girl in the school. But I will say that I felt equipped in the support that I needed to enter school. No, if I'm not being taught my personal history in school, that I'm taught outside of school, that I'm taught my worth, that I'm taught self-love and my boundaries, and that I had advocacy to support me in feeling that way. And I will say that I was blessed with I did face things of discrimination and unfair things within the schools, but I will say that I'm grateful for the good teachers I did have and the ones that did feel seen. And if that school wasn't a fit, or if that teacher wasn't a fit, I did have the support to kind of talk with those teachers or have them on those able to advocate in the school system if that wasn't occurring. So I can say that.
Oh, thank you. I'm hearing that family support was really valuable, and what you entered the school with, advocacy, self-love, self-worth, knowing your history, was valuable. Who would like to go next? Mm-mm.
I'll
I'm
go.
calling. Okay. Thank you.
What's the question again?
Let me unmute myself. Throughout your school experience, did you feel welcomed, wanted, and cared about?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I went to this school before I moved here since kindergarten. I mean, I'm like a very outgoing and like friendly person. So like I'm an easy person to make friends with. But I mean, yeah, for the most part, I didn't like feel like the people weren't like mean to me. I mean, there was some like discrimination and like some people were like, oh, since I was like black and there was other black children, they always thought that we were like cousins or sisters or something. And I was like, just because we're black doesn't mean that we're related. But besides that, yeah, pretty much for the most part.
I think we're gonna go on to the next one. Thank you, Takami. The next would be Jasara. Can you share? Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes.
Okay. Throughout your school experience, did you feel welcomed, wanted, and cared about? And if so, why or why not?
In some schools, I was like kind of young in like kindergarten and stuff, so I didn't really notice all that stuff. But then like in first grade, second grade, I kind of didn't notice that. But then in third grade, I mean, I had a pretty good year at because it was like third grade, and like I have friends that was all different like races and stuff, sitting at the same table as me, and they were really kind to me. For the most part, they never like said anything rude. We were like friends and stuff. And but then like when I came to fourth grade, it was not the best because it was like Mexican kids and there was like the white kids and stuff, and they would like say things about me and stuff, and I wouldn't like that. And I tried to tell them something, or like tell the teacher or something, but they would never like listen. Like when I told teachers and stuff, they wouldn't kind of listen or care, and like they were just really rude in there, and it was like really like I just didn't like that grade because it was just not good, and everybody was mean. And then for fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, and eighth grade, I was homeschooled.
And I'm assuming after being homeschooled, everything changed for you.
Yeah. Since now that I'm going into ninth grade, basically, I hope things will get kind of better. Since like ninth grade, we're not going to be able to be like doing school like that. We can only go like once a week. So I think it'll be kind of different, but I hope it will go.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry you did not receive the support. That's what it sounds like. The teachers and the did not advocate and they weren't there to mitigate the discrimination you were experiencing. And who's next? Who would like to go next? We have Makeda, Raja.
So I started off homeschool until like fourth grade. And then I went to one school that I didn't go to very long. And I guess that experience there was cool. And then fifth grade, I went to like a small school. And I guess in the beginning I felt like fine because it was like really small and I knew people there already. Like I had like cousins and stuff like went there. And it was cool, but as like from I guess it was at like seventh grade, it started being like very, it was just weirdly unorganized in ways. So I didn't feel like unwelcomed, but there wasn't really a place for anyone at that time because nothing was set for anyone. And if you tried to make your own place, there wasn't really a place to go, or there wasn't really nothing that you could create. And I think once it hit mid 7th grade is when I went back to being homeschooled for a short while, and 8th grade. But I was still, because my dad worked at that school that I used to go to, so I still went there very often, and my little brother and sister goes there, so I would go there, and the people that were there ended up really not liking me, and I don't actually know why, but it was an interesting experience. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing. That is very unfortunate that you didn't have a space, a place to feel grounded and centered and supported at your school, and how it changed due to the infrastructure or the administrative, like who really knows, but it doesn't sound very organized. Wow. Thank you. And Raja, our last daughter.
Can you guys repeat the question one more time?
Sure, absolutely. Throughout your school experience, did you feel welcome, wanted, and cared about, and why or why not?
Well, it's definitely been a minute since I've been in grade school. Elementary school was pretty good. I had a diverse group of friends, and the teachers were very attentive and caring. Middle school, pretty much the same. I had a different group of friends. I started playing volleyball and dancing, so I got to experience like new people. Didn't experience a lot of discrimination either. And then I got into high school. For the most part, it was pretty fun. I never truly felt it myself, but Berkeley High separated into small schools. So the school I was in was the art school, AHA, and the teachers were really caring. They really cared about their students. And there, my last 2 years, there were 2 huge protests that happened due to race incidents at the school. So that caused a little, a lot of dispute, and I don't know, a lot of racist topics came about, and I think the main thing I liked about my school, the school I was in, is that they wanted everyone to talk about it. And even though some people didn't want to, they included every race. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then, yeah.
That's pretty exciting. I've always been impressed with Berkeley High and the student protests that come out of there. So that's really, wow. And then the communication, the fact that they even encouraged or supported communication between all nationalities.
I'd like to add something to Raja's, if it's okay.
Yes, please do.
I think part of that experience that she experienced was because her mother was very much present and involved throughout her elementary and junior high school. And I found myself advocating for a lot of her friends where their parents were not in the school. So I think even though, we protect our children from experiencing things, there are a lot of things still going on around that I was able to observe. And I think more, as others have been sharing, things come out, you start seeing more and opening your eyes more as you get older, and you start, recognizing more things. And it's okay to be vocal. I think one of the main things as young women, what we do and what I remember doing as a young woman is not knowing when I had that safe space to be vocal or to say this isn't right or I don't feel good. So I just wanted to let you guys know that this is a safe space for you to speak up to. Because there's many times that I know I've felt I didn't have a space to speak my truth. So we just want to open that space for you here. Okay, thank you. And thank you, Roger, for letting me add to yours.
Thank you. And thank you for that reminder that this is a safe space and that we want you ladies to feel safe. So we're going to move on to our next question. And this question, we would like you just to reflect on, how did you learn about the history of your people? About your ancestry, about your families? How did you learn about the history of your people? Thank you. And I guess we'll start again with Mumbina.
Okay. I personally, let me think. I started learning about my personal history and ancestral history, I think at a very young age. Growing up in Oakland, I think you're surrounded with that strong mentality and sense of importance in knowing yourself, which I'm grateful for that to be my foundation, because I did end up moving elsewhere in a later elementary school, but yeah, I started at a young age. I think it was really, really, really important for I know my parents and my mom to really equip us with a knowledge of self and understanding ourselves. I think at a very young age, I was a Black girl, but I was also a mixed girl, so I think it was important for her to instill a sense of boundaries in myself, instill a sense of understanding myself, give me perspective on the world, what I'm walking into, how to still have pride in myself, how to do. I mean, I wasn't wearing hijab at a younger age. How to deal with people maybe putting me in a position of, well, at the time, honestly, that was a different time. I think you would deal with more discrimination. But like I said, in Oakland, I had a pretty positive experience, but also maybe dealing with people othering me or like fetishizing me in an odd way. And I don't know. I think I was really grateful to have a sense of pride and understanding and loving yourself and honoring yourself and like going into school, having like separate conversations with our history, with our homework, making sure we're going to like griots and circles, making sure that they're informing us, giving us opportunities to like know how to speak up in school so that when they try to give us information, we're like, I can be like, you know what, that's not the right, that's not the full history, or being willing to question my teachers and just ask questions. So it definitely had to be outside of, a lot of times outside of school, because oftentimes schools didn't, give that full education. So yeah, definitely a lot outside of school.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. And next we had Takami. Takami, did you hear the question? Okay, she's frozen a little bit. Am I frozen or is she frozen? You're muted.
No, okay, yes.
Takami's
How did I learn about my
there she goes.
history in school?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I used to go to a private school, and we didn't really talk about our history that much because I don't know, it just wasn't really taught in the school system. But once I went to public school, we talked more about it, and for 8th grade when I was in history, we focused on US history, and when during the time of when we were in the unit of slavery, we watched movies and did a bunch of different worksheets about it. But I mean, once I moved to public school, I feel like it was more taught to me there, not private school. So yeah.
Well, at least your school taught you something. Many of us didn't get that experience. Thank you. And was Makeda next, Sabrina? Or Josara? Josara, now I know your family. So how did you learn about the history of your people?
I didn't learn it in school. I really started to learn it once I got out of school and was more homeschooled. I really was able to get more of it taught to me. So it was taught through worksheets that my dad found off out of these books that he has. And then he talked to it. He has this whole bookshelf full of books that are what he calls really good books to help with that, and he's always getting more books, so there's never really books to fit on the shelf. So we always talk about that. It's always something that we learn about. Every day you have to get some of that in. Every day we do libations, and we make sure that we also set out a plate for the ancestors, and everything. Well, it's all about culture in our house. So we don't celebrate all of those holidays that everybody else celebrates. Um and sometimes we celebrate Kwanzaa. It's not really a thing that we celebrate like that, but we do. And but I really started to learn it after I got out of public school, because then I was able to get full one-on-one attention with my parents to teach that. And it was always something that we got taught about and something we still do.
Right. Beautiful. So a lot of reinforcement in the family. And next we have Makeda.
So being homeschooled first, I guess, most of what I got taught was from my mom, and it was, it was
It's frozen.
it was to the point where when I went into school in 5th grade, I already things about US history and our history in building the US, I already knew because of that. And once I got into school, it was this school that I went to was a social justice. It was based off a social justice type thing. So it gave me a pretty good, besides the things that I already knew, it gave me a pretty good sense of what I could do myself for social justice, and to learn more about myself and to help build a legacy, or help continue the one that's already been built. So I mean, it's been pretty good.
So another example of a school, the schools are also changing and making it a priority, social justice and learning history. Wonderful, thank you. And Raja.
Well, The first school I went to was Black Roots, and it was a private school. And I think that was, you know what, I don't know how long I went there. I think it was till I was like 5 or 6. That's where I learned what. Oh, never mind. Okay. I think that's where I had the basis of all my Black history, and then definitely my parents drilling me with a lot of videos and their information that they learned. And then when I got into high school, I mean, not high school, but like middle school, I didn't really learn, we learned a little bit of slavery and then the civil rights movement, but I give it a good chapter or two. They didn't really dig deep and go into depth with things. So
I'm going to turn it over to Sabrina. I just will make a comment. What I've noticed is that in the school, the curriculum is pretty much what you said, Raja, and also I think Takami mentioned it, that slave history is about the extent of it, unless you go to a different type of alternative school that teaches you about before that. And so I think that's something that seems to be common, and that all of you had the reinforcement from your families educating you about your history and your ancestry. And some of you were blessed to go to some of these alternative schools. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to say, because we're coming to, we'd like to keep everyone. I told them at 45 minutes. I think that's when we reached out to everyone. And I want to thank you again for sharing your thoughts. The topic for tonight was the school to prison pipeline. I want to close on that note and give you any closing thoughts. If anybody heard about that, is anybody aware of that? We're bringing it up because we're mothers, we're grandmothers, and retired teachers, some of us, and of course we're always teachers because we can always teach each other. So forever teachers and mothers. I want to ask everybody in a closing thought. You can keep it, short and sweet, or if you have a little more to say, please share. We're going to go around everybody in the same order and share what you've heard. If you've never heard of that term before, then just say, it sounds interesting to me, but I think it's this, it might be this. You can just say a little something, but if you have more to say, please just share. And if you have any other closing thoughts of what you thought about this experience with us sharing, you can share that too. So we're going to start with Mubina. Thank you.
Okay. Oh yeah. So actually, pretty familiar with school to prison pipeline. Sorry, just saw something. Yeah, actually, as I entered my middle school and high school years, and I was living in North Carolina, it was it's prevalent everywhere, but I think when I was living there, it was a very very serious issue, and and my mom and just in the community were involved in dealing with that in North Carolina, up in Raleigh, in the schools, and so I'm familiar. I see the effects. We've had to witness, and even at my school, just talk about things, bring things up. For Black and Brown students, I know that Black and Brown boys, I witnessed in my own brother. Just seeing the effects of the school system and that whole system, and my own experiences of Black Brown schools. So yeah, I don't know. I'd love to talk about it more sometime. And yeah, I'm glad we had this conversation. There's more to be said. Yeah, and I think it's important and I think a beneficial conversation to continue to speak on. I know our experiences, you know, Black girls in school, and our experiences and how we can, you know, shift and evolve and provide more advocacy as young women in school, and you know, just the school system itself. So yes, something I'm passionate about, so I look forward to talking about it.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Rabina, for starting us off.
Thank you, Bina. All right.
Who's next,
Well,
Asatu? You know the order. Oh, she knows her.
Tommy.
I've heard of it. I'm not like that familiar with it, but I've heard of it. I want to learn more about it because I'm not like super familiar with it. But I think this conversation was really important to have because I don't know, it's just like good to talk about, and I feel like it's good to like get stuff off your chest about things that you've been feeling about like school and stuff, because it's not always easy. And yeah, I think we should have more conversations like this more often, and I feel really grateful being like a part of it. So yeah.
Thank you. We're so grateful that you were part of it.
Yes.
Thank you. And Makeda.
So the the school to prison pipeline is like, it's like basically that even when you first get into school, no matter like how old that you may be, you are like, they're basically setting you, like Black and brown people, up for some sort of failure, whether it's like giving it so, making it so just like knowing you, or like a teacher, certain teachers, not all, but seeing you as someone that is of color, and like not paying attention to when you're struggling, and then seeing that you struggle in that, and then allowing you to do that. So you either, a lot of people, especially I know a lot of people now that because of like Corona and stuff, have and being online for school, and it's made it so much harder, and it's giving so much more work, that have just like made it so the first thing that they think is like, I'd rather just drop out and just be done. So it's basically that it's making it so they set you up for, or give you the toughest time. So either you can either give up, which a lot of people do, or you can go and like pursue it, which is hard, but a lot of people also do it. But they, even like once you get out, they also make it like hard for you to find a job and stuff like that. And yeah.
Wow, that's a wonderful example. Just a setup. A setup. Yeah, thank you. And then our Josara.
What was the question?
Yes, could you please state it again, Mama Sabrina?
Yes, so it's more about how do you feel, or what have you heard about the school to prison pipeline? And if it's an unfamiliar term, then share, that, or give us some closing thoughts about what you thought of tonight and getting together and speaking, or anything else you want to add. This is our last round robin of going around and hearing your thoughts. Thank you.
I thought tonight was good. I really enjoyed everybody sharing their thoughts, because not everybody likes to do that when it comes to like really things that they just want to keep to themselves and not want to talk about to the people. So I thought that was really good that everybody came out and shared with themselves, shared. And I think that this was a good talk, because not everybody gets to talk like this with a group of people. It's kind of like they just keep it to themselves or write it in a book or something. so they don't get to really get it out there. So I thought tonight was good.
Thank you, Josara. And Raja.
Um, well, from my understanding of it, and looking at the school system, I feel like it's failed a lot of Black men, definitely. But failed in a sense of they teachers and just administration in general could have been more understanding and try to talk with the men and the women also. But I primarily saw it with the men. And I feel like they already had presumptions of like how the men would do or the women would do it. And they would just um, talk with them based on that instead of actually getting to know them and trying to figure out like what's their aspirations or goals in life and really just wanting to see them succeed. But I think this is something new. Definitely, I feel like definitely keeps you on your toes. Speaking just right off thought, so it was cool.
Thank you, Raja.
Thank you, Raja. And thank you, all of you, for, I don't know if this was in your comfort zone, but thank you for being honest and for trusting us and for being open and sharing. We definitely appreciate your time. And we're praying for you. You are I know you hear it all the time that you're our future, but really we're here to support you. By any means necessary. And so
That's right.
I'm happy that you felt safe opening up, and we definitely want to bring you back. And
Yes.
you said you wanted to. I heard Takami say she wanted to learn more about the school to prison pipeline. It's actually the kindergarten, right, to prison pipeline. And we would like to invite you back for another discussion about that. And next time we'll give you some more information to prep you, so you'll be informed, and we'll learn together, because we're learning too. Just because we're elders doesn't mean we know anything. We look to you.
Right.
We look to you. You are the leaders of this next wave, and we're here to support you. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. And when we do come back, it sounds like I heard two responses that would be interested in and discussing again, because I feel like we just got warmed up and now we're closing already. So maybe we should, get back together and maybe share some videos or resources that we can, take some time and give people a couple of weeks to look at, and then let's regroup. And we're also going to have another panel of young men, and eventually, maybe down the road, if we're open to it in this safe space we've created, we can all come together, the young men and the young women. So I don't know if we have any more closing remarks, Mama Satu, but I want to.
Yeah, just thank you again, and have a restful evening, and look out for email if you are open, or text. It might be a text from us. If you're interested, you can definitely, it's voluntary, don't feel pressure. And this is not going up anywhere immediately. We have a YouTube channel. And so right there, we're brand new. So it's not a lot of followers, but we're getting there. And so your identity, your privacy is safe for now, but you might blow up start that podcast I've been talking about, Vina. So
That's right.
let this inspire you. So it'll be on we'll share that information with you if you want to like have your families watch it. Yeah.
Yes,
And we'll
yes.
let
Please
you know
share.
before others to share with others.
That's right. And one more thing, if you have any friends or family members your age that would be interested in being on our young men's panel, please let us know or let us out to know. Okay.
Yeah.
And thank you again. And you all have a
Thank you for
blessed
having
evening.
us.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
What did you say?
you. Zita, thanks for.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, we're honored to have all you wonderful young women and leaders. Thank you again. Can't wait to see you again.
Yeah.
Bye.
bye.
See ya.
Have a good evening. Good night.
Good night.
Right.
Okay, are you recording?